Hey guys, welcome to my review of Superboy issue number 12. In the last issue of Superboy, Superboy and Bunker were hanging out together, and they defeated a villain called Detritus, who is this metal scrap kind of, monster or creature, and they defeated him, and that's generally all that happens in that issue. And that's basically where issue number 12 picks up. We open up with Superboy at a club. And yes, he's at a club. He's actually hanging out with his landlady, who is actually super hot, or drawn super hot. And yeah, he's just basically hanging out with her. And he's hanging out with her because Bunker got the bright idea that this would be a great way for Superboy to interact with humans. So that explains why Superboy and Bunker were hanging out together. Oh, and also in the last issue, Superboy got a tattoo on his right shoulder of the S shield, and we learned that that's something that Superboy cares a lot about, that he wears that S shield across his chest, and that means a lot to him. Yeah, we learned that's why Bunker and Superboy hang out with each other, because Bunker decides that, okay, I'm going to pick out some clothes for you so you can go clubbing with your landlady later on. So yeah, that's basically all that happens in this issue. Superboy hangs out with his landlady, Dallas, and these other people, these like sort of, important, not in like really important people like in this series, but like important people in, society, in their world, or popular people or whatever. And that's basically all that happens. They just hang out, chill, and talk. And what else happens is that Dallas actually gets into a tight mess with this sort of crime boss, or this other lady, metahuman called Kiva. And she gets into a bit of trouble with her, and Superboy has to go save her. Now, this metahuman, Kiva, has the ability to actually instill fear in you by creating illusions, and you would see, monsters or creatures that would scare the living hell out of you, and you would pass out, or I don't know what would happen. But you would basically, see these illusions of monsters and creatures, and that's basically it. And Superboy fights them off, and of course he saves the day and saves Dallas, and that's how all that happens in this issue. And in the end of this issue, we saw Detective Jocelyn Lure, who appeared in Teen Titans, who knew the identity of Kid Flash and his his background and whatever. And we learned that she does say in this issue that she could be, Superboy's teacher, or could be Superboy's executioner, because she said this isn't what Superboy was meant to be built for. He's been built for more than just hanging out with, human beings and just interacting with them and stuff like that. So yeah, that's an interesting way to end this issue. And now my thoughts on this issue. Now, I have to put out here, if you people don't know this, Scott Lobel is not doing Superboy anymore. He's left Superboy, and we have a new writer now. His name is Tom DeFalco. And I have to say his writing is pretty good in this. Like, I was afraid that they were going to drop the whole Superboy interacting with humans, or Superboy trying to find himself kind of storyline, and just go with, okay, he's just this, he's Superboy, he's a clone, whatever. Let's just throw him out there in the world, throw some villains at him, throw some random stories for him to fight villains, whatever. I thought they were going to continue the whole entire Superboy trying to find his inner self and interacting with humans or learning more about them. But it's continuing this issue, which I really like. I like how the fact that Superboy actually does mention that Bunker is his only good friend. And that's a good choice because, of course, Bunker, like I said, he's the most friendliest person out of all the other Titans. And yeah, and sort of Superboy isn't on, the same level as all the other Titans, because they sort of have, a problem with Superboy because he tried to kill them. Some of them still don't like him or trust him in any way. But it's, it's starting to grow, and I'm hoping Superboy we'll get closer to the other Titan members, and also maybe go out with Cassie, or Wonder Girl, if you want to call her that. Hopefully we'll see that happen soon, or maybe later on in Superboy's run in this series, or maybe in Teen Titans, who knows. But I do like the fact that Superboy is finally interacting with humans. I mean, this isn't his first time interacting with humans. There's been multiple times in this series, in the earlier issues, where Superboy actually was interacting with humans, not including Nowhere. When he was actually, escaping from Nowhere, he actually did interact with a few human beings. But it wasn't to the point where he actually got to know them. He, at first, sort of despised human beings. Like, he never understood them. Like, he never thought, like, oh, okay, like, he knew everything about humans, and he doesn't really care about them. But now it's great that he's actually hanging out with them, getting to know humans and their lifestyles, which is really cool and interesting. Also, for the matter of fact, that when he's actually interacting with these humans, it feels like when I was reading Superboy this issue, from my opinion or from what I see it, I felt that Superboy was a bit lost. Like, it felt like, yes, Superboy doesn't have a lot of good friends, and that's a good point to bring up. Because in this issue, he does mention that he did fight the Teen Titans to these random human beings that he doesn't even know. These aren't really his friends. He just mentions like, oh yeah, I fought the Teen Titans. Does that count? And they ask him like, oh, what's your name? And he's like, oh, I really don't have a name. Dallas calls me Cutie, so I guess you can call me Cutie. I don't really have a name. They call me Superboy or, kon-el, but that's all, I don't really have a name. So we also learned that Superboy doesn't have a name. He's still trying to find himself. Hopefully we will finally hear the word Connor Kent in this series. Maybe when that happens, it's going to be a highlight of the series that finally Superboy has found himself and he is his own character. But so far it's going great, and like I said, I felt like Superboy was lost, like he really needed someone to talk to. Like, he just kept spouting all these like bits of information about himself that should be held up as a secret. Maybe he did say this because these people wouldn't take him seriously, or he just didn't know how to talk to them. But it felt like, Superboy really needed someone to talk to. Like, he really needed to let out everything he was, holding dear to him. Because before Dallas actually leaves, because she sees Kivia, because she doesn't want to get into any trouble with her, Superboy was about to talk about his past, about like what happened when he was with Nowhere to all these humans, or to all these other people. And then he's, interrupted because Dallas is, walking away. And of course he stops telling his story. But it seems like, Superboy really needs someone to talk to, or someone he can trust or open up to. And that's interesting because, he's a character, like I said, he's a clone. He doesn't necessarily have to open up his feelings. He doesn't really need to tell anybody how he feels or what he thinks. He's just a clone. Like, people think that, okay, he's just a clone. He doesn't really need to do anything. He doesn't have to think. He doesn't have to feel. But it seems like Superboy wants to be a person. He wants to feel. He wants to understand how humans are. He wants to be a regular person. He doesn't want to be, special. He doesn't want to be a clone anymore. He wants to be his own character, which is nice. And yeah, that's really all that happens in this issue. Nothing special. It was just him interacting with humans, which is nice to see, and I hope to see more of it. But yeah, so far, Superboy's doing great. I've seen the cover art for the next Superboy issues, and it does seem interesting. That sort of relates back to another Superboy kind of storyline that has to deal with another clone. And it also was in Young Justice, actually, which is surprising, which I would like to mention whenever I start reviewing that, not series, but the issue of that Superboy comic where there's a clone of him. Not gonna spoil. Well, that's a little spoiler, but you should see these cover arts. They're on DC Comics' website, so I normally go on there just to see what's going to happen next. And there is a clone that actually does use the heat vision to actually implant that Superboy symbol on his chest, or the S shield on his chest, which reminds me of, that moment in Young Justice where there's a clone fighting Superboy, and he basically uses his heat vision and then it just like sprays across his chest and makes that S shield. But yeah, just a little, basically foreshadowing for you guys, or maybe just telling you guys what's going to happen next, or anticipating what's going to happen next. But so far, Superboy is doing okay. It's not doing bad, but other than that, it's doing okay. I rate this issue 3.5 out of 5. And that's my thoughts on Superboy issue number 12. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy and like this review, and I'll talk to you guys later. So, see you guys.